So let's talk about this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction and what area of life it's going to affect for you. The exact conjunction will occur around, I think it's between like 19 and 21 degrees of Taurus. So if you have any planets anywhere from, let's say, 15 to 25 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, any placements there, then this will affect your life in relation to that planet. So if it's the sun or rising sign, that's very dynamic. So look for an opportunity to come in or look for some action to happen. If it's Mercury in that area, then it's probably ideas, conversations. That's also good for learning. If it's Venus, relationships. And if it's Mars, there would be a lot of luck with that. You're going to want to be taking action in March and April and going after what you want, because the action you take is more likely to get you what you want. So look in your chart. And in addition to those zodiac signs, I think that Virgo and Capricorn, in between 15 and 25 degrees of Virgo and Capricorn. This will be lucky for you, although you may not necessarily notice big changes. I think this is just going to be some helpful energy opportunity, but it may not give you the motivation to act on it. So you're going to have to put in a little bit more effort to make something happen, but the opportunity will still be there. So in addition to that, and looking where the planets are in your natal astrology chart, we can also look at the house that this will fall in, because that's going to be the main area of life that this will affect. If you don't know how, you're going to want to look for 19, 20 degrees of Taurus and where that falls in your astrology chart. If you don't know how to find that, look at my video, What is an Astrology Natal Chart? That's free for everyone on Patreon. And this is also free on my YouTube page. So you're going to want to watch that, and I explain in detail how to find that in your astrology chart. So whether it's the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction or it's a solar eclipse in Aries, which we'll have in April, or anything else going on in astrology, when astrologers talk about that, you'll be able to find what house it's in your chart. And the houses are areas of life. And I'm going to go through each one of the 12 houses and tell you what this conjunction will affect for you. For example, 20 degrees of Taurus is at the very end of my 4th house and the beginning of my 5th house. So for me, it's going to affect both of those areas, with the 4th house being personal, private, home, family, imagination, and the 5th house being creativity. And it's also the house that rules over children and self-expression, also dating. So it could affect any of those things for me. Probably not dating though, because I'm married. But we can always date our current partner, right? Make sure you're following me on social media for daily updates, and also on Patreon, where I'll be giving more updates as we go along on this conjunction. And I'll even give specific days here and there where we could see developments. But let's start with the 1st house. So if you have Aries rising or Taurus rising, then this conjunction may occur in your 1st house. And Jupiter is about opportunity, and Uranus, the effect of Uranus is change. And it can be very sudden, very quick. It happens very, very fast. So it could be an idea that comes in out of nowhere. It is inspiration. And so I love this combination of these two planets, because the opportunities that come in could be very surprising. And Jupiter is about bringing in more. And in the 1st house, that is self-expression and how you interact with other people. It's how you dress, how you look, your identity, how you make decisions. And maybe this combination could help you have a realization about who you are and how you want to lead your life. And your decision-making process could change. Maybe you realize more about your identity and your authenticity and being true to that in your interactions, because sometimes we make compromises all the time in our relationships. We make compromises to get along with other people. At work, we don't always say what we think. We may hide parts of ourselves in order to be more professional. And so sometimes that can go too far. And so now the window opens and let in some fresh air and sunshine for you to be yourself. Because it's occurring in your first house, it's highly likely that something will actually happen. And so anytime between February and April, look for developments. And I will be talking about this quite a bit on my daily social media post and Patreon if you're looking for very specific days of when this can happen. The second house is the house of resources. Traditionally, the first thing that people talk about is money, but it's also your possessions, your assets, and also your self-esteem. Maybe an opportunity will come in to help you build your self-esteem, maybe doing something on your own, or maybe it's a new work goal. It highly likely more money is coming in for you if you haven't seen it already with Jupiter in the second house. There's usually an influx of resources from someplace. This could also be an opportunity to decrease expenses, because that can the end result ends up being the same whether you increase your income or decrease your expenses. There's more disposable income. And so there could be a surprise that comes in here and could also help you in building your self-esteem as you try to move forward and being true to who you really are and to your nature. Third house, if this conjunction occurs in the third house, then February through April could be very busy for you. You could be receiving lots of invitations from different people, lots of things going on. Could be opportunities to learn and to explore. So you're going to find yourself more curious about things, maybe doing more research, looking up more things on the internet, looking at doing the how-to YouTube videos. And at times it may feel like drinking from the fire hose. There may be a lot going on and a lot of information coming in that you have to sort through, but just hang in there, keep up as best you can, and then allow yourself a break after April. Also, there could be some very important information that comes in for you in April with this conjunction, and it could come out of the blue and surprise you. Fourth house. I said at the beginning of the video, the fourth house is home and family. It's our private life and our most private self. It's also that place deep within where artists and creators go for inspiration. And so there could be creative inspiration, positive developments with family. Maybe you'll be inspired to redecorate your home. If you're looking for a new home, it's a good time for that. And also there's solutions for any family troubles that you've had, or if you're trying to reconnect with family. The fifth house rules over children, but if you have children and they live in the home with you, this will be helpful for that as well. But the fourth house is a very quiet house. So if we have Jupiter in there and Jupiter's approaching Uranus in that house, I would recommend setting aside some extra quiet time, February through April, especially in April, some time where you can be alone. Don't keep yourself too busy, because your soul is trying to speak to you and there's opportunity there for a realization, but you need to make some space for that to come through. The fifth house, which is house of children, and you could see improved relationship with your kids if you have teenagers that hide in their room all the time. They don't want you around. Try to schedule some extra time with them. February, March, April, they might be more receptive to hanging out with you. Ask them lots of questions about, what they like to do, what they're interested in. They're much more likely to talk to you if they can talk about themselves. That's just the nature of the teenager. It's also the house of dating. So if you're single and looking, someone may come in February, March, or April for you. And or if you're looking to connect to your current partner romantically, schedule some time for that with them, a weekend getaway, or some activities where you two can be alone and really enjoy each other's company. It's the house of fun. So you could have some really fun invitations, or some good times socializing. Pick some activities that you really like. Don't necessarily go along with other people just because they invited you on something they like to do. Choose activities that you love. I really feel like you could pick up on a new hobby here that you find you really enjoy. So maybe try some new things. It's also the house of pregnancy, and Jupiter is, bringing something in. So if you're in a position to have children, whether you want children or not, just keep that in mind. The sixth house is the house of work and work opportunities. So you could find a surprising new way to make your day easier. And the work that you do at this point, with whatever's happening the first 4 months of the year, could lead to big success down the line. It's just that with the sixth house, the success doesn't always come in right away. So you might not see that the first half of the year, but later on this year or early next year, it could come in. So it doesn't mean the benefits aren't coming, it just means they're going to be later. If you don't work, or you stay at home, or you're retired, you can find ways to make your day go more smoothly. And this is also beneficial for health. So if you're looking for health solutions, this is a great time to get yourself back in shape and to be feeling great. So if you need to see a doctor or a nutritionist or physical therapy or whatever you need to do to get yourself in a good place, this is an excellent time to do that, because you're going to find the right people at the right time, and they're going to say the right thing that just clicks in your head. And in astrology, timing is everything. The solutions will be here, and they could come from a very unexpected place. So don't rule anything out. Keep your mind open. And if your doctor makes a suggestion, you're like, I don't know if that'll work, or you may want to look into it. You never know. So we made it through the first 6 houses, the 7th, and that is the first house is the house of self and our decisions and self-projection. And the 7th house is the opposite. That's the house of the other. And those are the people that we attract to us. Jupiter and Uranus in the 7th house. New people are coming into your life. And this could be, maybe it's not a new person, maybe it's just a new commitment with someone you already know, because the 7th house is that house of one-to-one relationships and commitment with another person. That could be on a personal level, deepening a relationship with a close friend. For some people, that's getting married or moving in. It's also any kind of one-to-one relationship. You may find a new mentor at work, someone that could really take you by the hand and help launch your career forward. It's the house of professionals, so doctors, therapists, financial advisors. If you need to seek out a professional for financial advice, or if you need to seek an astrologer for astrological advice, then that's a good time where these people can point out what you're missing, because right now you're missing some information and you're not going to get it on your own. You need another person to come in and help you out with that and fill in the gaps. But the thing is that you need to seek them out. You need to hire someone. You need to, even if you're not sure what to do in moving forward, some people offer free 5-10 minute consultations to tell you about what they can do for you. And so that's something you could ask for if you're not sure if you want to hire someone for a full hour session with them. but you need other people in your life. Now is not the time to go it alone. You're missing out on some big opportunity if you do. Eighth house is the house of, kind of like the fourth, it's a bit more private, but the eighth house is other people's resources. It's also deep in your unconscious mind. So on the mental emotional plane, you could have some old emotions, things rise up to the surface for healing, but there's a lot of benefit with that will benefit you down the line. So you could clear up some emotional blocks. And then in the physical plane, it's other people's resources. So it's a good time to seek out loans, combine your resources with other people. It's sometimes the spouse will get a raise. It's also good for anyone who's working for like a corporation or a big industry, or if you work for a big company, then there could be opportunity for you there to move forward. So it sounds, going back to the emotional stuff, I mean, that sounds really, it sounds good. Oh, I can clear out these blocks, but the end result is good. But sometimes the process doesn't always feel that great, but allow yourself to feel it and go with it. It will be very beneficial to you, because by the time it's all said and done, you're going to feel much lighter and it's going to free up some energy. The ninth house is the house of higher education, anything legal, long distance travel, meeting people from different backgrounds. And not just higher education and college, but studying anything that expands your mind and opens your mind up to new ideas. There's lots of curiosity there. So over the next few months, you'll find yourself curious about how other people are doing things, other people's beliefs and morals, and wanting to talk about that. And I highly encourage you to reach out to other people during this time, have conversations, ask them lots of questions, because there's going to be a few people that say something to you that completely changes your perspective on your life and who you are and what you believe. Lots of learning over the next couple of months. You'll be craving knowledge. Buy some new books, buy books on different subjects. I think you'll really enjoy it, and you're going to learn some surprising things. How you see the world starting in April, or after April, so in May and June, how you see the world, it will surprise you at how different it is than from now, and how you see things at this point. Jupiter in the ninth house is usually good for anything legal, but because Uranus is involved, legal decisions could be surprising, but Jupiter does give you an extra boost of luck. So if you do need that kind of advice, make sure you see the right professional for that. The 10th house is traditionally the house of career, but really it's your identity in the world. So first house, yes, it's identity and how you project yourself, but the 10th house is how the world sees you. So for example, a lot of times when people first meet you, they might say, oh, what do you do? That's one of the first questions they'll ask. What do you do for a living? That's your worldly identity. And that's usually a safer, less intimate question than maybe some other questions people could ask. So this is public persona, and it is what you do for a living, but it's also other things too, how people see you from a distance, whether you're married or not. And so there's opportunity there. Some people, we think of Jupiter in the 7th as being, oh, you might get married, but Jupiter in the 10th, some people get married with Jupiter in the 10th house, or move in with someone, or make a more serious commitment in a relationship. So that's possible. But if you are working, there's opportunity in career. If you're not working, maybe volunteer work or work with a church. There's opportunity there too for you to take a step forward and be able to do the work you want to do and to help others. But if you are working, I would highly recommend put all your effort into it. See what opportunities are available. Contact HR and see what the openings are. Ask your boss about potential for promotion Don't just wait for Jupiter to drop something on your doorstep. You're going to get more out of this if you are actively involved in seeing what's out there. And it doesn't cost you anything to see what's available. You don't have to apply, but you should at least know what can come in for you. But with this aspect, it is possible for something just to be dropped in your lap and could be surprising, especially if you have a planet that's close to that conjunction around 20 degrees of Taurus. The 11th house, if this conjunction occurs in the 11th house, then there's opportunity that can come through your larger group of friends or your cohort or your people you work with, any larger groups that you identify with, or that you, any groups of people where you are a part of. So it doesn't just have to be friends. It could be your meditation group, or maybe you're in a book club, or any kind of groups that you're with. There are any kind of opportunities through those people. So you're going to want to be active in those groups over the next few months. And maybe you'll receive an invitation from someone to meet some different people and be involved. As far as professionally, if you work with groups of people, you're a part of any kind of professional community or in any kind of group work, there's opportunity there as well. 11th house is also the house of hopes and dreams. So if nothing else, over the next few months, really explore where you'd like to see yourself in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? If you look into that now and set the intention now and start to do this planning, then your new goal or project, you can take this wonderful Jupiter-Uranus energy of change and opportunity, and you can carry that with you into the future, long past April. In astrology, when you start something is really, really important. And you take the energy of that time period and it's carried with that project into the future, kind of like your birth chart, the day you were born and the time and in the city. And we take a snapshot of that day and the energy of that day, and that's a part of your makeup and your fabric, and you carry that forward in the future. New projects also have birth charts. So if you start something new right now, especially with Jupiter-Uranus being in your 11th house, that's very important for you in moving forward. You carry the energy of opportunity, expansion, and innovation. Explore a little bit where you'd like to see yourself down the line, and because Uranus is involved. I mean, Uranus is the planet of identity and uniqueness and separateness. So, choose something that's a little weird and different. Now we've come to the last house, the 12th house. That's another more private water house, like the 4th and the 8th. And the 12th house is the house of spirit, where we let go of our egos and recognize ourselves as a small part of a greater whole. And with this conjunction occurring in that house, there's opportunity for you to help other people, to be a part of the health and well-being and an advancement of others and humanity. Sometimes with the 12th house transits, you could have the opportunity to sacrifice some of your time and resources to help another person. But with Jupiter and Uranus in this house, if you do that, if you set aside, temporarily set aside some of your wants and desires to help someone else, their happiness and satisfaction will be satisfying to you and will far exceed anything that you could have done just to make yourself happy. So, making them happy will give you so much more happiness and satisfaction. Does that make sense? And there will probably be opportunity to do that. And you may wonder, oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I have it in me to help, but really consider doing that, because I think it'll feed your soul. Also with Jupiter in the 12th, you could have a new spiritual guide come in So that could be a spirit guide, or that could be a spiritual teacher on this plane. So an actual person comes to you, and be on the lookout for that person, especially in April. It's likely they're going to show up out of the blue, and they may be in your life for a long time. They may only be in your life for an hour or two, but it's likely they'll say something to you that could change your life, and you can't miss it. So don't worry about that, because you're gonna feel it in here, and don't worry about missing the message either. It will hit you kind of hard. Whereas, if someone else is present, they may not realize anything profound was said, but it feels different for you because it was a message for you, and it will stick with you, and you won't miss this. That's any time between February and April, but likely it'll happen in April.